everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Ann and this is the Health Hub. Today we'll be talking about what to do if you don't get retained by your hospital post comserve. So I'll just be giving you guys tips on the things to do and what to do to best prepare for the pending unemployment. I know it's not like something nice to kind of prepare for unemployment, but the reality of the situation of what's currently happening in South Africa is that a lot of doctors post comserve find themselves qualified fully, as independent practitioners, but with no jobs. There was a whole march on the 26th of January by Samatu, which is a trade union for medical doctors, to raise awareness with regard to the issue that the government is faced with. A lot of doctors who are qualified with no posts or no places to basically work in. So with that being said, there's still a lot of doctors who are sitting at home with their degrees, and it's something that's really sad. Imagine having to go through school, having to go through training after school. That's 2 years internship, 1 year comserve, only to find yourself unemployed. I mean, it's not fair. So today I'll be giving you tips on how to best prepare for the impending or possible unemployment that you might be faced with post-comserve. First things first is you have to prepare for it. How do you prepare for it? Number one is to actually try to build a resume. And by building a resume, I mean just to have other things to put on your CV besides you just having your MBCHB or MBBCH. So the important thing to do is to start signing up for courses to do that will increase your chances and give you a competitive edge over your peers when you actually are having to apply for a job post-comserve. So the courses that most people will do that are of importance, I mean, you can just Google them. There's so many academies or like training centers that run them depending on your area. So basically you can just search all of these courses and just make sure that it's accredited and that there are CPD points allocated to it and it's recognized by the HPCSA. Okay, so basically the important courses to do are the emergency medicine courses because they are necessary, especially regardless of which department you'll be working in or specialty you want to you want to further your education in the future. That is being BLS or basic life support, followed by the ACLS, that is of importance, and some people might do ITLS, which is the International Trauma and Life Support course. Other people will also do PALS or the pediatric version of the whole thing. Other courses that you can do, Ultrasound course, you can also do an HIV or short HIV course. Some of these courses you can find on the Foundation for Professional Development website. I will link it down below, but there's other companies that also run some of these courses like MedSkills, I think, but I'll just link down some of these online courses. So basically while on preparation, you also have to start working on your CV. So a friend of mine linked me up with this nice app which just generates a CV for you, especially for some of us. Like some of us last did a CV when we were doing English in like high school, and that was literally our only experience of having to draw up a CV. So it is important that maybe if you're not really particularly good with it, you can download the app. I'll link it down below. It's called Intelligent CV. So literally it just gives you the things like the different categories that are available. What you want to be shown on your CV, if you want a CV with a picture, which is one of these modern ones, which are the ones that I actually really like instead of those boring names, the name, blah blah blah, boring type CVs. So if you're looking for one of these modern type design type CVs, Intelligent CV app is the one that you should have. It's very helpful when it comes to that. So then the next thing or next way to best prepare for unemployment is actually around, I'd say around September. Make sure that it's raining and it's gloomy and there's thunderstorms. Anyways, let's wait. So basically the next thing to do when it comes to preparing for the impending unemployment is actually to open up a LinkedIn account if you don't already have one. I've seen like medical students on LinkedIn. So yeah, I was actually quite a late bloomer when it came to LinkedIn. But anyways, let's say you didn't have a LinkedIn profile. So just set up a profile. You just insert a bunch of things that you have done, interests, and etc. So when it comes to the section where you're looking for a job, or you have to specify that you're actually looking for a job, that's where it kind of matters and will help you and assist you when it comes to finding jobs, is to set up like tags of the types of jobs that you're kind of looking for. So in that case, I would open up a LinkedIn profile, make sure your profile picture is like decent. I know medical people kind of think that some of these things don't matter, but just like get a decent picture with like a clear background where you can see your face and you look like professional. After that, you can just insert things that that are important, your degrees, your courses that you have done, And then thereafter, the important thing to do is to then say the types of jobs that you're interested in so that you get alerts on those jobs. So that's things like medical practitioner, medical doctor, grade 1 medical doctor, junior medical doctor jobs. What else, man? Like GP jobs are also important, like, or medical practitioner / GP jobs. This will also assist in having these, you find these recruitment, you'd find that there's also recruitment companies that will come and approach you. There's actual, recruitment agencies that are only focused on finding jobs for medical practitioners. So sometimes they'll like email you, they'll like text you and whatever, which makes your job and your life so much easier. So that is important when it comes to sort of setting up and preparing for the impending, possibility of you not having a job the following year. So then let us move on to the second part. Now that you are best prepared for it, you're already prepared, you already, have your courses, we already have your CV, you already have your LinkedIn profile in check. So the next thing that's important to do, which you can start looking at from January as a comserve, is to actually anticipate the income loss, or the upcoming income loss. I mean, you can't live it up. It's not the time to be doing that, because there's a possibility that you might not have a job for the first couple of months. I know some people will only, the government will sometimes find posts for certain people, especially if you're a bursary holder, especially if you went to Cuba. They'll try to find a job for you in the first 3 months of the year. So sometimes you find that you are jobless for the first 3 months or 2 months or whatever. So it is important that from get-go, you start saving, guys. I know the jump in terms of salary from comserve, from internship to comserve, is quite a lot. I think it's like 10K. It's quite a lot. So it's important that you actually, instead of upping your expenses and upping, the type of car that you're driving or whatever, or your lifestyle, that you take that money and put it away just in case you won't have a job the following year. If you end up getting a job, I mean, you still have money to do whatever you want to do with, invest or whatever. So it is important that you actually take note of that and save that money for a rainy day. Also, patch up your finances. If there's debts and things that are outstanding, make sure you pay them off. Try to reduce your try to reduce your expenses, try to reduce your debt as much as you can, so that if you end up jobless, you're not completely stressed out and you're not completely stranded. So yeah, this is the time from the beginning of the year, from January, you as a comserve, you try to put your life in check, you try to set up your life so that you're best prepared for the future, possibility of you not having an income. Okay, so moving on to number 3, which is probably why everyone is here, to hear about the different options and the different things that you can do as, post-comserve, to try to maintain yourself before you actually get a permanent post. So yeah, let's look at the different options. The first option that is available for you as a medical, as a post-comserve doctor rather, who is unemployed. So it's basically GPing, or being a general practitioner. So being a general practitioner is then further broken down into 2 segments. So you can either join an existing practice, which I find is a bit better, and you can find these practices that are looking for doctors on LinkedIn, like I already said, or recruitment agencies for medical doctors. You can join an existing practice with a bunch of other doctors, work there permanently. The important thing to take note of, especially when it comes to signing contracts, when it comes to joining existing GP offices, is that sometimes these GPs and GP practices that are existing can sort of trick you into staying with them for a long period of time. So they'll make you sign a 5-year contract that is impossible. That's impossible to get out of. So it is important that you talk to other people, talk to other doctors before you sign these contracts, because some of them are actually really binding and they can be literally virtually impossible to get out of. And some will have e-clause where you have to pay money to try to get yourself out of these GP practices, should you get a permanent job in a public institution. So it's an important thing to take note of when you are finding yourself having to apply for such position. The second thing that you can do, if you actually have the funds for, is to open your own GP practice. Applied for a practice number, especially if you already have the funds, you can literally just open an office. There's a lot of things that come into play in terms of the funds that are required in you opening a GP practice. It depends on location, it depends on the rental, it depends on how much you're actually going to charge. If you are thinking of going into GP work from get-go, or while you are doing comserve, you can also just somewhat do a dispensing course so that you get a dispensing license while you are still at comserve. So there's a lot of things to take note of that are important, that have to be considered when you are going that route. But I will make maybe a separate video regarding GP work, whatnot, and things that need to be done when you are taking that route. So the second thing that you can do is actually apply for a full-time or permanent job at a private, hospital, casualty or emergency department. You can just go to a private hospital. You just basically mention to them that you are interested in working in a casualty. You have the various courses, ITLS, BLS, ACLS, PALS, and you are willing to get medical protection, and you just want to ask them if they have any full-time or even part-time jobs in their casualty. So what's important here that will give you also a nice edge to you is if you have casualty experience. Now, most hospitals won't allow you to choose where you actually work as a comserve, but some hospitals are actually smart enough to actually split your time during comserve. So you'll be doing maybe 6 months in casualty and maybe 6 months in another department, be it medicine, anesthesia, whatever. This is a good setup if hospitals allow comserves to do that, because they get a bit of emergency medicine experience, which is what is required by these maybe private hospitals. You can say that I worked in a casualty both during internship as well as comserve for 6 months. So that sort of gives them an idea that you actually have experience when it comes to working in the emergency medicine department. So it is important that you actually don't shy away from casualty. I know it's not a nice department to work in, but don't shy away from it, because at least it can give you a competitive edge when it comes to applying for jobs in a casualty, especially as a full-time medical officer working in private. So the other thing that becomes a bit tricky is that these hospitals won't take you. Actually, majority of hospitals won't take you unless you actually have your independent practice certificate from HPCSA. So basically, after you complete internship and after you complete comserve, you then submit everything in the papers to HPCSA, which is our board, and then after that they basically say, okay, you have done what is necessary and therefore you are a fully qualified doctor, and they give you a certificate that states that you are an independent practitioner, independent medical practitioner, basically. So that certificate is required before you join any medical officer post or any post comserve. So basically, some of these hospitals, will require that, especially some of these private hospitals might require that you have that certificate, and you can only get that certificate mid-January at most, or January early. So there is a bit of a lag or period of time where you have to wait for that certificate. So that sort of prevents you from getting an actual proper medical officer job via application, other than via resorption. Anyways, it's complex. I hope you guys get it. The other thing you can do is to also apply for a regular job, for regular posts that are meant to open or start in January in the public sector. So public hospitals will release posts that are available. Right. These posts you find on the government website. So I'll link down the actual website where you find posts from various hospitals. So some of these hospitals drop posts around November, and I think as a comserve, a lot of comserves will apply and get interviewed around December to start in January. So that's another thing you can do. Make sure you on that website, especially around November, December, you can do that, because sometimes they're looking for people who are going to start in January. So it is important that you check that website with your CV at hand, obviously, with everything at hand. Then you are able to apply for these various posts should they open in these various hospitals. So the fourth thing that you can do is to actually apply to work at a cruise ship. I feel this one is probably should everything go wrong if you don't actually have a job, or if you're not tied down, then this sort of makes sense. You don't have really kids or things that you're actually really leaving behind. Then you can apply for the cruise ship jobs. So basically they found me on LinkedIn basically, and they were like, oh yeah, we see you have experience in emergency medicine. Please drop us your email so that we're able to give you information about the job working at a cruise ship. So the important thing that they actually want when it comes to working at a cruise ship, especially post-comserve, is they mention 6 months experience in casualty, right? And I feel that's why I say to you guys that it's important that you actually do that 6 months in casualty while you're at comserve. because then you're able to say, yes, I have 6 months experience and in a casualty or in emergency medicine department, and on top of that I have emergency medicine courses, be it BLS, ACLS, ITLS, and PALS. So then this automatically increases your chances of being taken, because one of their requirements are not only these courses which I mentioned above, but one of the main requirements is that you have 6 months experience in a casualty. So yeah, it's an important thing to take note of and to just think about, especially when going into comserve. So yeah, that is the other thing that you can do, going into cruise ship work. And they pay quite a lot, man. Like they send me details of the things that they're actually doing and the amount of money that they pay you. I think it's like $10,000 before taxes, and you pay your own taxes and you arrange that, and you work for 8 months, 4 in, 4 out, or like 3 in. There's like weird arrangements. And then basically you stay on the ship, you don't pay for food, you basically live off of them. You also get discounts on like nice facilities there, like spas, etc. You eat food from the ship, so it's nice, man. I feel like it's a good thing, and you get to travel. So I think it's a very good option, especially if you find yourself not having a job and being stranded, you know, maybe even if it's just for 1 year or 2 years, okay, just to get back on your feet while you wait and see if there's any vacancies that open up in the long run. So yeah, the last thing that you can do that's also of importance is to actually locum. So locuming helps, especially in the first couple of months. Like I said, sometimes it takes the government takes time to like sort out things off post. So you find that sometimes you will be unemployed for 3 months, 2 months, whatever, before they're like, oh yes, there's a post here, there's a post there, blah blah blah. The important thing to do is actually just locum. So how to get locums is that you have to make yourself available and make sure that the doctors around, be it GPs, be it the surgeons in town, for theater assistant locums, they know about you. So if I was in that position, I'd actually go and make business cards and drop them off at the various, like in all the GPs in town and in all the public hospitals, like in the front desk. I'd go to the gynecologists, the surgeons and whatnot, to just drop my business card to let them know, hey, I'm available, call me whenever you need help. This actually, you know, will work and assist when it comes to them, you know, needing someone to like assist them in theater and things like that. You'll literally be a phone call away. And I know some people will say that no, these GPs and these people actually have their full-time people, but I feel like sometimes you find their full-time people are like busy, right? And then they need someone who is actually available whenever and however to actually assist them. So I think you can actually make good money with this. You can probably even make more money than you would make if you are working a full-time job, because imagine if you are assisting in like 6 or 7 Caesars, that's already almost 10K in a day, not even a full day, like half a day, you know. And then you can assist in laparotomies, you can assist in these ortho operations. So I feel like it's something that would sustain you or maintain you in the time being. I know it's not like permanent, and therefore you don't know how much money you'll make like at the end of the month, but I still feel like it's something that will assist before you actually have to figure out what you actually have to do with your life. So I hope you found these tips useful. If you know of any other thing that can be done that I didn't mention, that can be done by someone who's post-comserve, please drop it down below. If you found yourself in this similar position, please let us know what you did to actually just sustain you for the time being, and now you've already found a job. Just let us know how the whole process was for you, because things are not like how they were before. With us, literally, guys, you were just told, where do you want to go? They ask you where you want to go. They give you a list of hospitals post-comserve where you want to go, then you pick them, then they send you. Now it's just, there's so many doctors, and I don't know, they never made provision for us. Therefore, there's not enough posts for the number of doctors that they are available, regardless of the fact that there's many hospitals that don't have doctors, many clinics that really require doctors. So the need is there. It's just a matter of the government creating a post and allocating money to the different hospitals for the post to be made available. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I hope you guys found this useful. I will catch you on my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.